Hi there, welcome to the PlannerSpeechie. Today I am going to be doing something I have never done on camera, which is to set up a brand new bullet journal. Um, it's I've been bullet journaling since, oh gosh, it's been a while. It's I want to say 2017, 2018. So I'm really into it. I stepped away from it for a little while, but then I came back to it. And I have recently filled up my regular bullet journal that I started in January. So I decided I wanted to continue and use the actual bullet journal method notebook. So this is a Leuchtturm journal. This is a special edition, so it has like a bunch of really cool features in it. I'm also a member of the Planning with Kay Patreon, and I'm going to be using some of her Planning with Kay stickers, including some printables and things like that today, just to help me get set up. So I also have this really cute washi from the sticker party that I kind of want to make like the theme of this whole spread. So anyway, I'm going to just open this up really quick and just give you a brief little tour of what it looks like inside. Now, I've used a variety of notebooks for bullet journaling of different sizes and shapes. You can really bullet journal in anything. It can be a composition spiral bound notebook. Like, it doesn't have to be the official bullet journal. This was about $30 on Amazon, so just consider that. One of the reasons I love it though is because it has an actual grid built right in. This, oops, all this stuff just fell out of it. Let's see. So we've got, this is like a handy little foiled overview of like how bullet journaling works. You can use QR codes to sort of walk yourself through it. I've read the bullet journal method. I actually got to meet Ryder Carroll at a bookstore event in Brooklyn when he was promoting the book. So this is very cool. Anyway, so here it is. This is what it looks like totally new, just to give you an idea of like how I expand mine with stickers and just use. I decided to go with a different color for the second part of the year because I thought that would be really nice. What I love about this edition is it has grid spacing baked right in. There's this beautiful what, why, and then in the middle, that's the whole purpose of bullet journaling. These bullet journals also come with these beautiful little notebooks that explain the whole system to you. So if you're brand new to bullet journaling, if you've never done it before, this is a great resource. I do like that it comes just with the bullet journal, so you can hold on to it. You can keep it in this little back pouch, which comes with, I use it to store stickers. It also comes with, this is really handy, and I'm going to be utilizing these in my setup. It comes with 12 different vertical numbers, and then you can match it up with the day of the week that it starts with, along with some monthly headers and some foiled deco. I've never really used the deco. I think this is supposed to be the spine that you put on the outside to mark what year it is. I've never really done that with my bullet journals, but so the first and scariest thing about any bullet journal setup is putting your name on the front cover. So I am going to do that, and I've decided that we're not going to be precious about it. It is a new notebook, but it's a tool. So for anyone who's like totally panicked about writing their name perfectly, don't. What I do is I write my full name and my email underneath. And that way, if I leave it somewhere, somebody can find it. This actually happened to me this week. I left this notebook in the school workroom, and somebody opened it up, saw my name, and returned it to me immediately. So that was really, really helpful. I am going to speed things up and come back in a voiceover so that I can like do this accordingly without having to worry about my time. Okay. All right. Well, welcome, friends. So this is really exciting. I had so much fun doing this. I did write my name and my email off camera just because this is like a personal account, and so I I didn't want to have that information just out there. So the bullet journal does come with a key and an intentions page, and it's noted at the top. I decided to use the key as a good place to put my 2024 year at a glance. This book is going to extend likely beyond 2024, but since I don't have a year at a glance that's handy for this, I decided this would be better. And I did have some trouble like putting it down. There's actually a crease in the bottom, but it doesn't really matter too much. But this was the printable from Planning with Kay as part of her Patreon. Um, and so it was super easy to do. I didn't have to make any dots, I didn't have to make any small calendars, and that was really what I wanted. I could have done more with this index header. I could have made it scripty, I could have done it in a different color, but honestly, I was just so excited to set this up that I didn't really care. um, so right now I'm filling out what I think is going to be the beginning of the bullet journal. I had already taken notes in my previous bullet journal of things that I wanted to keep and things that I wanted to migrate and also things that I wanted to add. So I had a good sense of pages and page numbers. So I did start to put that in. I do actually expand on this. So I did have to go back and white out some of those page numbers at the end, but that's okay. The index is really there to help as a guide for you in case you're trying to figure out, okay, I want to look back at my September 2024 start. When did that start? Things like that. So the index, for some reason in bullet journals, the index is several pages, and I just don't utilize the journal that way. So I was just using, this is what I'm making for the future log right now. So I decided to do a Dutch door method. Previous future logs, I used tiny little box calendars and just sort of filled things in as they came up. But to be honest, one of the things that bothered me about that was that it wasn't um, chronologically ordered. So I decided to do some vertical formatting this time where I would be able to go from 1 to 31 or whatever the days of the month were and write things in accordingly. Now, I decided to use 2 months per page, and using this little botanical bullet journaling kit that I picked up the digital stickers for as a Patreon member. Um, I was fussing with this because I really didn't want it to sit um, the way I positioned it eventually, but I realized I would had to have printed out at least 4 of those up at the top, just whiting out the part that says index, and then those 2 say future log, so I just left them. That may bother some people, but I just didn't care. This is me referring back to the grid, so I could count out exactly how many I wanted for each month. Because I had used some of the sides already, I had to detract that number from the number of spaces that I needed and then go from there. I had a bunch of these vertical strips left over from the previous bullet journal that I'd purchased because I wasn't using them in this way. So I decided to just use those up first and then I would use the other ones. I like to put the day of the week before the number. So that meant that I had to put the vertical strip down, figure out what day it started with, so that year at a glance was very, very handy, and then line them up so that they matched accordingly. This was probably the hardest part of laying that down because I wanted it to be straight and I wanted it to match with the actual lines in the dots in the bullet journal. So this is just me showing you how I set up 2 months. I do actually speed this up because this was taking a long time, and I figured even if I sped it all the way up as high as it could go, this wouldn't necessarily be fun to watch. I'm using a ceramic trimmer to cut off the bottom numbers. I tried to start the ones at the same place every single time. So even though some of the dates were less than 31 days, I wanted them to all be matched up at the top in the same way. And I believe I did this throughout the spread. I could be wrong. I might have changed my mind midway through, but you never know. So this particular bullet journaling kit is really designed for migration into a new bullet journal or starting a new bullet journal. Most of the kits that Kay sells have days of the week rather than months of the year. So, and those headers that you saw, like the future log, that's not usually included in most of her kits. So I just decided this was really handy and an easier way to go. So I decided to do the majority of the future log off camera because it was just going to take too long, and I think that did work out a lot better. You'll notice that I started with October as the beginning of my future log because it didn't make sense to do it in September. And I did highlight in blue weekends, so that helped me break things up a little bit. So for this page, I wanted to have a goals. Um, just I don't know that I'm like fully keeping these goals in my heart all the time, but I like to, refer back to them and kind of remember like, oh, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing sometimes. So I just decided to use some of this deco that came with the kit. And I did have 2 pages of this deco because I used the digital stickers and cut them myself. So I've always had different headers for goals. Kay does actually provide a few if you get one of those sheets that has them, but I decided to break mine up into work, creative, social, family, mental health, and personal. And I decided to do 3 goals for each. I'd actually met some of my goals that I'd made in the previous bullet journal. And so these were sort of the remaining goals that I haven't fully met yet. Um, so some of these were brand new that weren't in my old bullet journal, and some of them were just right there. So I wanted to, um, for work, I just wanted to create my professional development and use my own therapy materials. For creative, I want to outline a novel and finish a cross stitch project. For social, I want to make sure I'm doing my monthly calls to friends, making new friends. I try and like make new friends over a longer period of time just to kind of push myself a little bit. For mental health, I want to hold my boundaries and do daily meditation slash um, calming breathing exercises, and I want to try and get 7 hours of sleep per night. Some people would call that just like a regular health goal, but it definitely affects my ability to do my job and to just be me if I don't get enough sleep. For my personal goals, I want to celebrate wins as they happen, learn to cook some new recipes, and I'm going to add some more stuff in off camera for the family. I just wasn't comfortable sharing that with everyone yet. So I also decided to have separate page for my home projects. My husband and I moved into our very first home in October 22, and it's a new build home, which means a lot of it is building grade. We've not painted, we've not really decorated fully. I've never lived in something that I've owned in my entire life. So this is all very new to me. So I'm trying to kind of push myself to add more personal touches to our home um, without being suckered into like the standard stuff that everybody else gets. Um, so we do need a full length mirror. I need to get some new chairs for our counter because the cats have made a good mess of them. Um, and I'd love to have like a reading chair for my room. So I split it up into furniture decor and just rooms because I had very specific things in mind that I wanted to do for certain rooms. You'll notice that this is not very fancy. I didn't use scripty letters. I didn't do very much. I don't even think my lines are straight, but it was just, I wanted a landing page for this to be, and I needed space to add more as things came to mind. So those were all the pre-set up ones. Um, This was a book tracker that I had. I purchased it on Etsy a long time ago. Unfortunately, the shop no longer sells it. And I was really struggling to separate my sticker paper from the backing. So I eventually transitioned to doing this off camera because it was just too hard. So, and I did actually mess this spread up as well in terms of like having it not flat. I think it's just that side of the page is really, really hard to do. So I had this really cute washi from the sticker party that I got with a recent order, and it has some gold foiling in it too, which is pretty. So on the left is my books to read tracker. So these are books that I have on my um, to be read list that I've saved from Goodreads or Libby. Um, if you're not on Libby, you need to get on Libby immediately. All you need is your library card. And if you don't have a library card, please go out today and get one. They're free. They're the best free resource that any country has to offer, honestly. Except maybe, if you live somewhere else and you have like subsidized healthcare. But anyway, um, so I just thought that was really cute. I wanted another page. I'm not 100% sure what I want to use this page for. I'm thinking about using it for like best of the year or favorite quotes. I just wanted to leave an extra page blank, which is very dangerous because typically when I do that in my bullet journal, I don't go back and fill it in. So I'm hoping that things are a little different. You can see I kind of, yep, there it is, but that's okay. So from the similar shop, I had a TV shows to watch and a movies to watch, and I just put that down. That one seemed to go down a little bit better. But that's again, we're just putting this in. It doesn't have to be perfect. For TV shows to watch, I did have a little list of running TV shows that I wanted to add. Um, all of we don't have TV, we have like streaming services. So they're always adding new stuff. And there's stuff I've had on my list for a while that I really want to watch. I added the Decameron, Only Murders in the Building, Dairy Girls, The Terror, which my friend recently recommended to me, Your Honor, which has been on my list, Homeland, I've never seen, Call the Midwife, I haven't seen any of the newer seasons. Um, and then I'm watching Vincenzo, which is a Korean drama with my good friend Lynette. And then for movies to watch, I just had a couple of movies that have been on my queue for a long time. These are movies that are just for me to watch. They're not movies that I'm going to watch with my husband, who I will share that spread in just a second. So I think I put down My Octopus Teacher, Good Grief, Babes, Ezra, and Beetlejuice. Old Ass is another one I really want to see, and there was one more there, and I think it was From Scratch, um, which I actually started the same night that I started doing this bullet journal. So I think that's the other thing about bullet journaling that's important is like the act of writing it down reminds you that you want to do it, and so not only is it great to have as a reference, but the physical act of writing, of preparing the words, of putting them to paper will help you manifest those goals, manifest those tasks. And so I think that's the coolest part about this whole system. This is a Once More with Love washi that it's like a Polaroid of two munchkins and they're hugging with hearts. I got this a long time ago. I don't know if it's still available in the shop, but it has some like gold foiling on it. And I was really struggling with my ceramic trimmer, which is crazy because it's like washi tape. It's like not that hard. So I used my washi tape cutter to rip that up. So my husband and I have a tradition where we're kind of homebodies. Like we don't really go out very much, but that's our thing. That's just who we are. So on Saturday nights, we sort of have this standing movie night date where we order takeout and we alternate who gets to pick the movie that we're watching that night. We're very careful about the movies we choose. We sort of curate it to be movies that we've both wanted to watch. Up until now, it's mostly been movies that we've both seen, but the other person hasn't. And so we're sort of introducing ourselves through movies, which is really fun. But now my husband says he's like running out of movies that he wants to watch with me because I've already seen all of his favorites. So now he's starting to pick movies that he's always wanted to watch, but he's never actually seen. And I think that's actually been really fun too, is just exploring. So I made two different pages for this. The first one is going to be um, my movie picks, and then I wanted to put the rating that I gave it, and then the date. The rating is a little silly because, you know, if I'm picking the movie that I've seen, I know that it's good. Um, but I figured, if I start doing what my husband is doing, which is picking movies that neither of us have seen, I do want to have a rating scale. Um, so some of the movies on my list, I'll just tell you, are Star Wars, the fifth one. Frank, my husband saw the first one with me. Um, The Hurt Locker, Schindler's List, Rosemary's Baby, Dog Day Afternoon, The Goonies, Shutter Island, A Few Good Men, Now and Then, classic, um, Sound of Music, and Cars, like Disney Pixar Cars. My husband has not seen any of those movies ever. So I'm sure he has his own list. I have to transfer some of those in. For a while, we were watching Fast and the Furious series, and there is a lot of those. There are a lot of those, I should say. So I had a second deco sheet because the way I printed, I just doubled up on the digital stickers for one page. So I actually had two deco sheets, which worked out really, really well. So in mirroring my future log, I decided to do the same thing for this next spread, which is to mark gift ideas and wish lists. So I kind of do this a little backwards because I write it on the bullet journal, but then I sort of ran out of room. I was playing chicken with myself and I lost. But gift ideas, especially around this time of year, the fall and Christmas. For some reason, all of the people I love in my life have birthdays from September through um, November. And then December hits and it's time for Christmas. So I try my best as I think of ideas to populate them in my bullet journal much, much earlier in the year. So when it comes time for me to actually make those purchases, I am ready to do so. Um, I do have a little wish list of my own that I just kind of keep as a running total. I'm never going to have extra money to just buy stuff for myself. But sometimes, if my husband is like, hey, we get a discount on this at this store, is there anything that you want? Sometimes I can refer back to my wish list and be like, actually, we kind of need some new kitchen knives, things like that. So I think this is the final spread that I put in here for the beginning of year setup. And this is for my other planner. So I do keep a vertical stickers planner. If you are brand new to my channel, the majority of the videos that I make are based on that memory keeping planner. So what I do is I have a themed sticker kit that I use and I change it every single week, and I like to plan it out in advance. I've been shopping from all these different printable planner sticker shops on Etsy, as well as a few very established brands that are sort of at the top of the game. I always try and list links to where I get everything. If you're interested, I don't make commission. I'm not on any PR team right now, so I just kind of do it because it's fun for me and I like it. So right now, what I did was I split it up into the week on one side and then a place for the kit on the other. What's kind of funny about this is that I do change my mind a lot, and so it's almost a joke for me to put these things in pen because I'm probably going to change my mind once or twice. Usually what happens is I'll have an order set up and then um a life event will happen or a new art for kits will come out, and I'm like, oh, this is actually a much better fit for this week, not this week.
So I always use the kits that I buy for sure, but I definitely have rejiggered some of them, especially in the last few months. So I just thought this would be a fun place for me to keep track of all of that. Um, and I gave myself a lot of room for the kit side in case I'm adding something special to that kit, like underlays or foils. And I thought that would be a good place for that. I only filled out the first half of the year. And then the second half of the year, I wasn't sure that I wanted to put it in there or if I just wanted to use that other space as like favorite kits or kits that I like that I've favorited on Etsy that I want to maybe get one day, but I don't have a real reason to buy them now. So that is the full bullet journal so far. I am really proud of how this turned out. Having stickers to start with really makes this easier, and it definitely made it a much more cohesive process. I like being able to flip through this and have those spreads right up front. Um, I do add to them periodically throughout the year, so it's nice to have them right in the front of the journal. But then I have that index in case I think of something else that I want to use that's not related directly to like a monthly or a daily spread. I did have a lot of stuff left over, and there were a lot of things I didn't use, like memories, favorites, finances, self care. So there were a lot of headers there that would make great bullet journaling spreads, but I didn't feel that I needed them at this time. So I'm just going to hold on to those, and if something else comes out. I also had these new bullet journal spread headers, monthly spread headers, and long form months. And I'll just keep those and save them for later. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like. And if you want to see other planner content, please come back. Thank you so much and have a great day.